Rivalries reignited.
Historic heavyweights.
The spiciest of derbies.
New kids on the block.
The best leagues in the land are back.
Tom Hitchcock crashes, Tom Hitchcock goes, Tom Hitchcock scores! Leaving it all out there for the man.
A steamroller has just charged through.
Dynasty, destiny, drama.
Your Women's National League Cup champions.
Future stars set to shine.
Bill Rigg, who's been on fire all season.
Champagne rugby? Look no further.
To score one of the most memorable tries.
Durham University are Bucks Super Rugby League champions.
But the truth is, in this league, it's anyone's on the day.
And it's full time. It is 6 wins from for Swansea.
Entertainment guaranteed.
Bullard through! Bullard wins it for Exeter in the dead!
Bucks Super Rugby.
Women's National League.
Bucks Rugby is back. Good afternoon and welcome to Devon. Welcome to the University of Exeter, to the Sports Park Rubber Crumb, or the Crumb as people in the know call it, who have worn the green and white of Exeter in days gone by, and some plenty good players have worn that green and white in those days gone by. EURFC has been a mecca for Chiefs players going forward into the professional era, but we're going to be bringing you them later for their varsity clash against Cardiff on what is our Rainbow Laces special double header today, because first and foremost all eyes are on the Women's National League, because we're bringing you the first live streamed fixture of many across the season here today from Exeter, and it features two teams who are maybe travelling in slightly different directions. Exeter University, they had that incredible season last year that led to promotion. It was undefeated. In fact, they only lost one game in the whole club's entirety, first and seconds across the year. But greeting them today are the champions, the league champions, who went 9 from 10 last year. They didn't claim the cup, that double they so dearly wanted. So with goals reset, they came to this year looking to achieve that. Hasn't gone to plan. They haven't won a game, they haven't scored a point. Such is the cyclical nature of university rugby. It is a new raft of players wearing the famous Palatinate, but they come here today to the Crumb seeking that first win, while Exeter, sat fourth in the table, are looking to propel themselves higher up and get themselves into the conversation of those cup final spots. It's a fascinating fixture that we've got in store for you today, and we're going to be bringing you all the key protagonists throughout the afternoon, but starting with Matilda Torresata, the Exeter University captain, who caught up with our one and only Claire Thomas at Media Day before the start of the season.
Matilda.
Yes.
Welcome along. We're on the eve of a new season. How is the body? Be honest, I know Coach Poppy is sat over there, but how grim has pre-season been?
It's been grim, but in all the right ways. Like, we want to work hard, and it's giving results already, and we're so excited for the next season. We're just giving it all.
When did you find out that you'd be wearing the armband this season? What did that mean to you?
It means so much. Like, I never thought, like, when I came to uni, being international as well, like, I didn't think I was going to come to an English uni and become captain of a team like this, and it's such an honour. And I love the team more than anything, and they know that, so I'm so proud of it.
Honestly, everything I hear about Exeter Uni makes me want to go back in time, play rugby instead, and head down
No,
there.
genuinely, it's the best decision I've ever made to come here, so yeah.
And you had things very much your own way last season, a thumping win in that Vars final. How are you preparing psychologically to suddenly be playing against teams that, you know, do have slightly more formalised structures around them, better resources, who are experienced playing at this top level? Because it's going to be a gear change.
Oh, for sure, and we keep talking about that, and especially like building our defence to make that strong and to be able to compete with those like teams that have like a better attack in that way. So we're working really hard on our defence, and just a pre-season, just having like a hard pre-season is the only way that we can prepare properly, I guess. But the girls are up for it.
And what, with that in mind, are the targets for this coming year?
I mean, we just want to show that we truly, truly deserve to be there, and I know that we do. It's so hard saying, I mean, where we'll end up in the table, but I'm really confident in the team, and yeah, it'll be good.
It's difficult to know how big to take this, because women's rugby at Exeter is onto an unbelievable thing, with the Chiefs reaching the Allianz Premier 15s final. rugby in this country, we're seeing records broken every single time there's international. Women's rugby globally building to a World Cup is in such a special place. What is it like being a part of that?
Oh, it's so exciting, and just the fact that you can feel it growing in the club. We're getting a threes in a Sunday league, and it's just so exciting, all of it, and you can just feel it happening, and you're really proud to be a part of that and working towards that.
We can't wait to see you out there. Matilda, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
All the best for what should be a fantastic season.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful to hear from Matilda there, certainly with eyes on the prize, having come up with that incredible promotion campaign, and someone who was part of that promotion campaign, Maisie Allen, who is now pretty big time and too busy with Exeter Chiefs to be involved today. But Maisie, I know that you would love to be involved with the match today, but also you were on that promotion journey, and just talk to us a little bit about that and where the team's grown from.
Yeah, absolutely. The girls had a massive season last year, really positive results all round, and they sort of deserve to be here. It was a long journey to get here. You know, you have to go through that whole season with those big results, but they've got here and they're making their mark.
Well, yeah, they certainly are making their mark. It's a really interesting one for Exeter because they were formerly champions and then went down, and here they are back up. So what's the mentality like? Is it, right, we're new here, we need to earn our stripes, or is there a sense of this is where we belong, this is where we should have been all along, and we come in here with a bit of swagger?
There's definitely confidence with the girls. I think they feel like they should be here. It's always difficult with the turnover of players. You'll have girls who are in the last cycle who were in the top league, and then some who have never been there before. So it's a lot of different experiences, but they've definitely got confidence coming in.
Definitely. So, well, look, a team that is kind of going through what Exeter went through a couple of years ago is the opposition today, Durham. They went through 9 victories last season on their way to the inaugural Women's National League title. But here they are, they haven't scored a point yet. They've conceded 95, rooted to the bottom. You mentioned that big turnover of players, so you must understand what they're going through and how tough it is for them kind of reinventing themselves after the successful group that came before them.
Yeah, it is hard, and if you think of their second and third years that are going to be playing today, they've been through that sort of winning feeling, and now they're coming back into a really difficult place. But you know, they're gonna perform, and hopefully they find their feet. But it's just that cycle that goes round, and unfortunately they're there at the moment, but they'll definitely build on throughout the season.
Well, look, we just heard from your captain there, Matilda. What's she like to play under?
Tild's great. We call her Princess Tild, Swedish princess. But no, she's really positive all the time. Really good with messages, constantly bringing the girls up, and she is just someone that you look to as a really motivational person.
Well, we've heard from Exeter's captain. I think it's only right that we hear from Durham's captain, and Dave Rogers caught up with Chloe Broom earlier before the season started at our media day. You happy, Poppy?
Yeah.
Yeah, you good? Okay, right. Poppy, so good to see you. So good to see Exeter back at the top. I mean, what's the journey been like so far?
Yeah, it's been a tricky one. Obviously, on the back of COVID and the relegation, we found ourselves in the Premier League last season, had a really good season, took the year to kind of develop the squad in terms of the depth that we had, and now we're back in the National League, which is amazing. We've got 3 teams running, over 100 members, so the club's in a really good spot, and we've got a really good, strong depth in the first team and second team, which is amazing.
Yes, so that depth that you've got in the first team, how many of those have been brought through into this Women's National League, and how have you recruited? What's the makeup of this squad this year?
Yeah, so obviously the COVID year was difficult because everything was at a standstill. So we took the year to kind of work on our tracking sheet, so to kind of have a look at our prospective players, get them in when we could a little bit earlier, have conversations with them about their rugby journey, so that when they came into the season, when they came into the club, we knew a little bit more about them as opposed to it being a blind meet. We then had a really good 8-week pre-season the previous year, which gave us a really good step in the right direction for the Premier League. And then we had another 6-week pre-season going into the National League. So the pre-seasons for me have made probably the biggest difference in terms of where the group's at now. We had 50 back at pre-season this year, which is amazing, and that's really taken us into this league. So yeah, exciting time ahead.
Right, so that's the journey.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the arrival, because you're here, you're sat in 4th, you got a fantastic victory away at Loughborough.
Yeah.
How do you feel it's gone so far?
Yeah, look, 1 from 2 isn't probably a bad start point for us. I think looking back on the Cardiff Met game, I do think we had that win in the bag if we just managed the game better. Loughborough was an opportunity for us to get those kind of wrongs right, and the girls definitely did that. We definitely left a few out there. We got held up 3 times, so it's been a massive work on for us. But, you know, if we'd scored those 3 tries, that would be a different game. But, you know, I'm really pleased with the girls. Obviously, on home turf now at the Crumb where the girls train, which is a really big advantage for us. But I'm really looking forward to the game today against a competitive Durham side.
Yes, very competitive Durham side. But I want to talk about your style just before we move on to them. What can we expect from your Exeter side? Because all your tries have come from the forwards so far.
Yeah.
So are we looking at a power game or a bit wider as well?
I don't know, like in previous years we've been very much a forward dominated squad, but actually I think as we're moving on, and don't get me wrong, our forward pack is still hugely dominant, but actually it's the backs that we've got coming through which are really exciting. So we've got Lottie Dads at 10, we've got Hermione at 12 and Naomi is at 13 with a little 3-way partnership there, and you know they're 3 really young exciting players coming through, which is great. We've then got players coming off the bench that are really new, bring a kind of freshness to the game. You know, that in those last 20 minutes, you need them to lift the intensity. That's exactly what they do. So I'm looking forward to seeing our backs on the ball today. You know, special shout out to Abby Willett, who's at fullback, who's been banging kicks from the touchline at the moment, giving us those additional 2 points, which can give us that little nudge in terms of those results that we've come away with, exactly like we did at Loughborough last week.
All right then, so speaking of that little nudge, what have you got to get absolutely right to get the edge over Durham today?
I think, like I touched on earlier, it's the game management part, which is a big thing. So making the right decisions, the right calls at scrum and line-out time, you know, having that really good communication with the referee so that we can keep that in the right keep that on the right side. But I just think it's that game management. You know, the wind is swirling quite a lot. There's quite difficult conditions. So I want to make sure the girls are making good decisions in terms of where we want to get to next. So less rugby in our half, more rugby in their half, etc. But also, you know, using the skills that we have in the group to make sure we get ourselves there.
Loving it. Can't wait to see you out there. Good luck.
Amazing. Thank you.
Cheers, Bob.
You're the captain of Durham University this year. To anyone on the outside, that appears to be an incredible honour. So tell us what it's like.
I'm really lucky to be surrounded by a really good team and a good leadership team as well. So it's definitely not all the responsibility lies on my shoulders, I wouldn't want to think. But there's a really great group of girls, so I'm really looking forward to it. It's a big honour.
Durham has been synonymous with success in the last couple of years in university rugby, men and women. You were the league champions last year. How do you look back on last season? Yeah,
it was a great season for us. It's something that we'll be proud of for a very long time. It was really good to get Durham a national title, and it's something that we worked on to continue throughout the entire year. It wasn't something that just happened overnight. It was a lot of work behind the scenes. But yeah, very good memories from that year and a great team, so yeah.
Who are the best club in your division?
The best club?
The best club.
Well, us, isn't it?
Who's the second?
Oh, I can't rank everybody. I don't need to worry about who's there.
So what's a good season this year for Durham?
Back to back, yeah. We want to take the league title again, definitely. That'll be our priority. But yeah, can't look too far ahead too quickly. Got to just take each game and see where we go. But looking forward to it.
The league championship was incredible, and the way that you won it in that sunny day, everyone was absolutely delighted. A real experience, a real sort of memory that'll live with you all forever. But there was that big occasion at Six Ways that you weren't involved with.
Yeah.
Is that something that's preyed on your mind since?
Of course, that's a final that everybody wants to be involved in, but it gives us the motivation this year to go again. We can look at the good parts of that season, and that's what we're going to take into the next season, and look at the areas that we can obviously improve, look at see how we can get there next time. So I think it's not something that I'm going to dwell on. It's a new group, it's a new team. So yeah, it's something that I'll remember personally myself, but also it's what will help spur us on this year for sure.
And what can we look forward to watching Durham this year?
Oh, it's difficult. Hopefully business as usual once we get back in the league. Yeah, I can't give too much away yet, but it's going to be a good season.
Looking forward to it. Good luck.
Well, thank you.
All right. Cooper Vuna, I mean, what a pleasure to see one of the big names of the game coming into the Women's National League. What's it brought you into it?
Look, I think I've just pretty much dived into it, really. Coaching the women's team last year with DMP Sharks, and then kind of just fell into this, and you know, it's been a pleasure to kind of stay in the women's game, try and help it grow, and obviously help the girls develop.
Fantastic. Well, look, you inherited a championship side, but as with university, there's a lot of changeover. It's very cyclical, and it seems you're in a bit of a rebuilding stage. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%, and it is pretty tough with uni sides as well, because you get your postgrads that just finish off at the end of the season, and then you have to breed a whole new group, and it is like that at the moment with us over at Durham, and it's just more of the building phase for us, and which is quite nice for us to, as coaches, to kind of see a lot of girls come through the ranks and see how they go and how they develop through the years, and if they definitely will get a shot at it. Probably not this year, but maybe in the years to come. So it is healthy for the game. For the women's game, I should say, and definitely is building it towards something good.
So speaking of building, it's been a tough start to the season for you, there's no doubt about it, but do you see growth, do you see that development, and do you see optimism for the games ahead, and specifically today against Exeter?
Yeah, 100%. We obviously started off with a rocky start against a great outfit, but we are developing week in, week out, which is the good thing, and that's the one thing that I wanted out of the girls, is to obviously just go out there and just give it a shot and see how things go, and as long as we're progressing, which is something that I kind of want to see out of the girls, and that's been good so far.
Okay, it's the first time that many are going to be seeing any WNL this season live on the stream, but also this new crop, so give us a few names who we should be keeping an eye out for.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a few girls that do come out of the Prem side as well. We've got Izzy Hane, who's been outstanding for us for a couple of years now, and she's an outstanding player for us. We've got Jess as well. We've got Chloe Broom, who's coming off the bench. So it's exciting for us to actually get those girls back into the shape. But we've got a lot of youngsters in the side as well who are showing a lot of progression, with Summer O'Brien out at fullback, and we've obviously got our two young centres in there with Charlotte and Margot, and we actually, they're definitely girls that are developing through week in, week out, and are actually going to go places in the future.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing them go places today on the Crumb. Cheers, good luck.
Cool, thanks for that. Cheers, mate.
The great Cooper Vuna, how good to hear from him, how good to have him in the Women's National League. So, with kick-off imminent and with all the knowledge bombs dropped for what promises to be an explosive encounter between two of the Bucks rugby greats, it is time to throw to our commentary team, who is the encyclopedic rugby mind of Harry Scott Munro and our very own great World Cups, Claire Thomas. Enjoy.
And the women who would be queen. This one should be absolutely fascinating. Well, kickoff received by Exeter, and a first early glimpse of what they might be able to do today. Ball in hand, ball placed backwards by Maddie Bucock, co-captain today, hooker, and a first trundle from the second row. T Sharp, a converted pentathlete, and with all the athleticism you would expect, it's through the hands of Dads. What a tackle that was from Durham, and the women in Palatin at force an early knock-on. So free hit here, they're playing with an advantage. Izzy Hane, hands on the ball. And Araminta May, wearing 9. An arcing ball over the top from Martin F. Bailey. Durham going through the gears, and our referee pinging Exeter for being offside. Harry, welcome along, and I'm going to get your thoughts right now, because we are coming back to the mark. What a breathless start.
It's been an unbelievable start, hasn't it? I think Exeter there showing really what they're all about so far this season. Hard, direct lines. Durham, it's not been the start they wanted, but you can see from that defensive set there, as Summer O'Brien kicks to touch, what they want to try and do this afternoon, and really impose that physicality in defence.
Followers of the Prem 15s might recognise O'Brien from her time playing in the blue and white of DMP. She's an experienced operator. Finds touch, and we'll get our first look at the set piece this afternoon. So just a reminder, at the moment, Durham languishing in 6th in the WNL table. Exeter, new kids on the block. They are up in 4th with a win under their belt after that extraordinary last gasp drama against Loughborough last week. Well, it's an overthrown line-out, but it's plucked from the skies by Thomas Thompson. The Welsh tight head using all of that height to her advantage. May. Direct line from Charlotte Gordon. Wearing 12 and carrying just like an inside centre, but over the ball is Bucock. She's had a busy opening passage of play. Anna Woodman, in her first year plying her trade for the Green Machine, makes a couple of yards, and so too does Dads. She's a physical fly half, the number 10. And Hayes adding her shoulder to the wheel. It's lovely work at first receiver from Titcombe. Dads again. Finds Woolett. The winger turned fullback, puts her foot on the gas and makes some inroads. Exeter up on the halfway line and earning a hard-earned penalty.
Fantastic response there from Exeter after that early Durham pressure. And the bit for me there, just watching that, how good is it to see that far side packed out with the men's club as well. The men's first team that are playing this evening tunnelled them on, which was fantastic to see. But that's really good from Exeter. Abby Woolett showing what she's all about there, and Hermione Titcombe played fly half last season, starting at centre today. Really, really good extra option with ball in hand.
Let's just talk about all the men and the crocodile. There is actually someone dressed as a crocodile standing on the far edge of the field. Exeter got men's teams 1 down through 5. We've got a flourishing women's programme. We can expect some really quite vocal support today, can't we?
You really can. Obviously here on the Crum and at Sandy Park this evening as well. The crocodile, that's Snappy, the club mascot, making an appearance over there. That's one of the first-year students who's having to wear that one. But it's great to see, it's fantastic to see, and so far, women's team have really, really responded to that support.
Possession very much going the way of the host so far today. Dads receives that one, puts it right on a plate for her outside centre, and in there is vice-captain Torasata, Swedish international, who fizzes it out. Dads is waiting, gets her mitts on it again, finds number 8, Neve Orchard, on a hard line. Durham, though, with a crucial turnover to the delight of the women in Palatin that stood in front of us.
Really, really good response there from Durham. Exeter looking really physical there. We talked about that physicality early doors, and we've really seen it from both teams. But that's a real statement from Durham there in defence as well. Exeter were building nicely there, but that one has not made touch.
It hasn't, but that is a cannon of a boot that O'Brien possesses. We will keep an eye on that one over the course of this fixture. An error, though, from the fullback. And Exeter with the ball straight back in their possession. And offset Celestia Skeets. Dads working their way through some slick backs handling here, Exeter. Thomas is there with the clear out. The experienced veteran tight head, it's Dads. Finds Titcombe with a mazy run. Fancy footwork from the number 12. Hayes. It's a trundle from Thomas.
Clear release next time, please.
Torasata. Oh, finding Woodman on a fantastic direct line. She makes real inroads, and all of a sudden Exeter right up on the try line. Dads through to Titcombe again. Little tip past to Bucock. Exeter, oh so close now. Meters out, inches away. They're being roared on by the men supporting on that far edge. It's a big carry from Orchard, but held up by Durham. Their last-ditch defence is proving robust.
It really is. Superb work there from Durham in defence. It looked like it was the hooker, Ellie Brosnan, who managed to get herself under that play there from Neve Orchard. Played for Chiefs in the Prem Cup, Allianz Cup, sorry, I should say, recently as well. So she's got plenty of experience, but that was really, really solid defence from Durham. And it's been a really, really entertaining start, actually, as well. So fast.
Ball in play time is right up there. This is really testing the fitness of these two outfits. Underneath that dropout was Leverage. We've not said her name yet today. Through to the outside centre, down onto the left wing. It's McCall in space, driven into touch. That is a fine double hit by the Durham back line.
Again, I feel like we're almost repeating ourselves a lot in these early exchanges. Exeter, all about that attacking play, all about that intricate passing, but Durham's defence holding firm when it needs to. Creaking a little bit in these early minutes, you'd say, but that defence, especially right on the edge, is serving them well so far. And hopefully for Durham, if this line-out goes to plan, which it has, an opportunity to clear their lines.
A fine first start from Ellie Brosnan. She's got a Women's National League winners medal in her sock drawer. And all of that experience coming to the fore. That was under pressure. Here is Torasata. Opts to carry it all by herself and does very well to keep that just stuck to her fingertips. So Skeets comes in and plays at scrum half temporarily. Brennan. Some fancy footwork. Exeter were playing with an advantage. We'll come back for the penalty there. Just coughed up by Libby Hall. Cheltenham's finest, the Cheltenham Tiger, coming unstuck at the breakdown there.
Coming unstuck, yes, and it's a really good opportunity for Exeter here. They've had those phases in and around the Durham 22 so far, but haven't really had a chance to test that set piece. And that's a decent kick to touch there from Lottie Dadds. And an opportunity now for Maddie Bucock to see if she can follow Brosnan's lead here.
Dad's a seriously useful utility back. She's used to be a scrum half, wearing number 10 on her back today, but she's played across the whole back line for Exeter. So fascinating to see just what she's like with a bit of space. I imagine she's got absolute gas.
She really does. It's one of those, it's a really nice problem for Poppy Leach to have in terms of there's so many talented players, where do you want to put them? And Lottie Dadds has got that 10 jersey so far and it has taken to it like a duck to water. And if you look at the game so far, they've had Cardiff Met away, Loughborough away. Everything in attack has come from Dadds and a metronomic passing technique, which has set them up really well.
Well, she waits hands on hips behind this line out, which is plucked by Orchard. She's had several significant contributions so far. The number 8 trucks it up. Torasata tips through the hands of the engine room. Exeter's handling 1 through 15, really sparkling out on that 4G today. And another penalty. That count is just starting to rack up. And right as I say that, Durham's captain for the day, Scarlett Thomas-Thompson, comes in for a chat with our man in the middle.
Slow, and it's giving your guys advantage to steal the ball unnecessarily, or unfairly rather. All right.
I don't think we'll do that. It's so rapid.
That's fine. It just needs to roll away quicker.
Breakdown proving an area in which Durham are just finding their discipline slipping a little bit. There's a chorus of oohs and boos from the men in chinos across the pitch from us. They will make themselves heard all afternoon. Here is Titcombe. Bucock with the carry. Torsata. Now another look at Thomas.
Better, ladies, thank you.
She's worn that green and white jersey for so many years now, but just as ferocious each and every time she dons it. Torasata. Skeets. And now a
she's well out of the way there.
gain line puncturing carry from Hayes. Not the first we've seen this afternoon. Palmer. In off her wing, in at the centre of the field. Fantastic sticky Velcro hands from Orchard to keep hold of that one. And back the other way go the Chiefs. Poppy Leach will be delighted with how much attacking ambition they're displaying in these opening passages of play. Their tails really are up, and Titcombe again. Another involvement. Torsata opts for the cute little pass, but it doesn't quite come good. Fumbled, but somehow still staying with the home side. They're inside the 22 now. Overlap on the right, if they can just use it. Dadds drops it to her laces. It goes backwards. Exeter with a fine attacking platform here.
Advantage.
Inches out with a free hit. The insurance policy. Exeter go again.
Penalty only, significant mitigation.
Still playing with the advantage here. Right before their home fans. They are so vocal, and these women have been so tireless in their pursuit of an opening score, and they have it. The ball is flung heavenward, and it's Maddie Bucock, who's been everywhere in this opening passage, who has Exeter's first score in this big live-streamed game.
It's an absolutely fantastic score from Exeter. You could see that's been building now for several minutes. Really good reactionary play there from Abby Woolett as well. The kick from Lottie Dadds didn't quite connect, but Woolett was right there to pick it up. And then from there, any Exeter team, whether it's the women's team, the men's team, Exeter Chiefs, when they get within 2-3 metres of the try line, you know what's coming, and you've seen it there with Bucock. she'll be pleased with that one as well. I know there's a little bit of a running joke in the club at the moment. She's been held up about 5 times already this season, so I know for her that will be one that she'll be really happy to get over the line with.
She was not going to be denied there. It has been such one-way traffic, this opening 10 minutes of play. I don't think we've seen the ball once in the other 22.
We haven't, and I think a lot of that is that Exeter pressure that's been coming on when Durham have tried to clear their lines. The exits have been really good. I think we've got to credit Anna Martinez-Bailey as well, that the clearance kicks, the angles, the direction she's aiming for has been really, really strong. But Exeter have just been absolutely rampant with ball in hand.
They are not playing like a team back up at the top table of women's university rugby, up against the reigning league champions. They've got so much confidence and will be delighted to get themselves on the score sheet.
Better on those breakdowns towards the end, much better.
Conversion was missed down the other end. It's a blustery day here. Bright, dry as you like, but it will remain a 5-point score as O'Brien gets us back underway. Picks out Sharp with the restart. She opts to take the contact, brings it down to Torresata. Bucock scarcely got her breath back, but going again. Dads. Here is Willett. Tips that on to Sharp again.
No hands.
Dads. It's a hard carry from Woodman.
Lift for me there.
The green machine just beginning to purr now. They're looking for another score. How they would love to add straight away to that tally up against fierce rivals. Exeter and Durham. There's always fireworks when these two sides meet. Torresata, Dads. O'Brien out to her wing. And just bundled into touch. Durham's defence, when it's clicking, Harry, in those quicker passages of play, does it like it's a very efficient, well-run operation.
It really does, and you can see it there. Jodie Palmer is no slouch by any stretch of the imagination. And that was some really, really good cover defence there. Meg Riley on that far side. For Durham, they need to get those connections right. When they do, they are well in this game. They can build those phases, build that momentum, but they just need to get into the Exeter half.
It cannot be easy throwing a line out with a Greek chorus of Exeter men's players behind you. That was no mean feat, and it was messy, accordingly messy. Brosnan's arrows tumbling to the floor, and Durham did very well to regather there. Groundhog Day here on the rubber crumb. Exeter up on the Durham 22. They don't have the ball, but the pressure is suffocating. The women in Palatinate really struggling to exit. It's a big carry from the tall figure of Scarlett Thomas-Thompson.
It was part of the collision, play on.
Barrett juggles it, struggles with it, but just about keeps it in her grasp. May fizzes us out.
Penalty advantage.
It's another big carry from Thomas-Thompson. Always seems to add an extra couple of feet through contacts.
Okay.
Brankin.
No advantage coming, we're clearly going to stay in.
Durham are playing under an advantage there, and we will come back for it. Do you think, Harry, in that they're trying firepower at the moment? Do you think it's time for some flair? Do you think it's time for boot to ball or just to run it out? Because what they're doing, picking and going, it's not working.
It isn't, but you look at it there, they are starting to draw the penalties from this Exeter defence. In terms of, that's a good touch finder there. Has Meg McCall managed to keep it in? Not quite. But this is the sort of opportunity Durham need now. They've got some really talented backs today on show as well, and I think they've not really tested Exeter out on the wide channels yet.
There you go.
And they've got a really good opportunity here, near enough on halfway, to test that out and see what they can do.
Plenty of bodies committed to these line-outs, so it's going to be all about the backs if they can just get it away and quickly. Interestingly, it was Hannay who took that line-out throw for Durham, wearing 7, playing at hooker momentarily. And it's a much better execution from the women in Palatinate. Spun through the hands of Martin F. Bailey, out onto that far wing. It's a green and white reception committee, both on the field and in the stands. Durham turned over.
Brilliant turnover there from Exeter. You can see Lottie Dads getting a warm embrace from her teammates as well. Superb work from the fly half over on that far side. I know we sort of just said Durham needed to try and go for the whip, see what they could do. The Exeter defence certainly up to the task there so far. and really, really doing well to stem the tide from Durham whenever they try and build any momentum so far in this match.
Straight off the training park, clean as a whistle. Hayes picks out of the line out and offsets Orchard. Oh, she has been dynamic and then some in this opening 10 minutes. Hayes on an arcing run, pops it backwards. Sorosata to Dads. Such quick hands, too quick perhaps. Can't fault the ambition, but perhaps Exeter just getting ahead of themselves.
Perhaps a little bit there. Again, we talked about it in the early exchanges. You've got to credit the Durham defence there, putting that pressure on, harrying them, hassling them into making those decisions that the likes of Dads and Titcombe probably wouldn't normally make. But I think we're looking at the clock now. We're near enough 15, 16 minutes in. It's been all Exeter, but it's only one score. And I think that, for me, is the crucial thing. One break, one change of play, and Durham is straight back in this match.
We talk and we talk in this sport about red zone efficiency. Exeter have been in that red zone, for you're right, almost the entirety of this game so far, and only a score.
Crouch!
We go our first.
Byrnes!
How lovely, we haven't had a scrum and it's been 15 minutes. Sorry to any scrum purists out there. It's purple against green and white. May pops it in, it's straight out the back, a solid platform from the women in purple.
And away!
Marguerite Julia.
Yeah, ball's available there, play on.
Carries into the centre of the field. And Izzy Hannay.
Good decision there.
DMP Shark, England under 18, plenty of experience. And it's a pirouette from Thomas Thompson.
Leave it!
The prop with the footwork of her back, that was fine. And Durham attacking again down that blind side, but driven backwards. Dad's putting in a serious shot there.
That really is some shot from the fly half there. Forced Durham into kicking that one away as well. You talk about small wins, you talk about the mind games as well. For the fly half for Exeter to come and do that to her opposite number, I think it was. That's a really, really big statement so far in this half. And Exeter now in the 22. And like you said, we've been talking about ball retention here, we've been talking about red zone efficiency. This is a chance to try and prove us wrong so far.
Durham have been under siege so far in this one. And here they come again, the women in green. Orchard does well to grab that loose line out, but it's just knocked on. Durham's bench are doing their best to be vocal. Their players on the pitch are doing their best to Saracens-esque celebrate those mini victories, but they must feel right now as though they just need a break.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, they're right in this game still, as we keep saying. The defence is there now. It's really stifling Exeter as they try and build these phases, but they just need to get themselves into that Exeter half. We keep talking about it. Nearly 19 minutes on the clock now, and there hasn't been a single phase on this side of the pitch. For Durham, I think they've got really experienced players there, and Araminta May at scrum half, I think perhaps now just needs to get her pack together and get them to truck it up the field and try and build those phases and build that territory.
So your two front rows packing down for Exeter. Alessia Skeets, Maddie Bucock, try scorer early on, and Jess Thomas. For Durham, it's Paula Forathas Reigas, Ellie Brosnan and Scarlett Thomas Thompson who's skippering today. May pops it in, and and this time Exeter get a shove on. This time Exeter managed something magnificent at the scrum. Look at the elation on the face of Jess Thomas.
You can see what it means to Jess Thomas there, an absolute powerhouse of women's rugby in Exeter. And there's one thing that she loves more than anything, and that's a scrum penalty for her side. She'll be thrilled with that one.
And it's a lovely nudge too from Lottie Dads. She has shone so far in this first 20 minutes. You might notice that there's a little rainbow along the top of our score graphic today. That's because it is Rainbow Laces Day and we are celebrating that across our coverage. I've got my laces on. Harry, we're going to have to get you a pair very shortly. They are absolutely everywhere. So this is all about purple, green and white today on the pitch, but everything we do today, a little bit of rainbow to it. Rugby really is a game for everyone.
It really is, 100%, and I think that's what's so good about this event today as well. The women's match being streamed here at the Crum, the men's match later as well, highlighting it, bringing it to the fore, and working for Exeter Chiefs in the past, working for Saracens now. You can really see that togetherness, that inclusivity, and it really is a game for everybody.
pendulum swings just a little bit in the other direction. That line out almost seemed to happen in slow motion. They were doing everything they could, Exeter, to keep their hands on it, but it was knocked on. Durham will have the put in. But off the back of that last scrum, Harry, they won't be too delighted to have one this close to their try line.
No, the pressure really is on now for that Durham front row. That first scrum, they looked fairly solid. That second scrum, definitely one up for Jess Thomas, Maddie Bucock and Alicia Skeets. And I will say, as a bit of a rugby nose, I do like my scrums. So I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen at this one.
Creeping forwards towards the pitch. Excited to see how this one goes.
Come down, both of you coming in.
It's a mutual offence, going a little bit early and driving downwards there at the scrum, so we will reset that one. 5-0 the score. Exeter newly promoted. Athletic Union Team of the Year last season, National Vase champions. All the wind in their sails, and Durham, their squad seriously depleted. So many of their stars graduated last year. They are desperate to get a foothold in this league table.
Early green.
Well, the last scrum went the way of Exeter. This one, the way of Durham. Exeter going a little bit early there. May looking around for options. Who's going to clear this one?
Yeah, Mitch come. I see that. Yeah, last time it was dominance, and then they stopped. That time they just pushed all the way through.
I know you can't see everything.
Yeah.
I feel like she's coming a little bit, so I
Okay, that's fine. For me, it was the other side. It was more under pressure, but you also went down. So, right.
Scarlett Thomas-Thompson just having a word with our referee today. One of the more experienced players in this Durham squad, third year, studying criminology and looking out for other illegal activity at the scrum there.
Very good on that one. But yeah, no, it was. I think, like, Scarlett Thomas-Thompson has spoken to the ref a few times already, just making sure he's aware of what she thinks she's seeing and feeling at the scrum. And Durham there with the free kick, taking it quickly, building the phases, and now seeing what they can do with the ball on the edge.
Could Durham finally be about to do something with possession? Could we see them manage to exit against the sea, the horde of green and white that has been so dominant so far in this clash? It's been all about Durham defence and Exeter attack so far. But finally the women in Palatinate have the ball and are driven straight into touch. Exeter's defence, Exeter's ability to pin them back, Harry. I know that they haven't got more than a score on the board, but it's incredibly impressive. It bodes very well for the rest of their campaign.
It really does, and you look at it out there on the field so far, they're not hunting in ones, they're hunting in packs of 2, 3, 4, making those really, really dominant hits, forcing those players into touch, forcing the turnovers. And you look at that one there, that was Lossie Dadds again, Katrina Hayes in there, forwards and backs working in unison.
Not straight.
The line out not quite straight there, so again, it's an opportunity to exit. Austin Healy on Rugby Tonight a few weeks ago said that if he had his way, he would abolish academies, and instead we would have university pathways leading through into premiership clubs in this country. And I think there's a bit of similarity between the way that ex-university working with Exeter Chiefs. You worked very closely with the Chiefs. You are a man of these parts these days, Harry, although I know you're now plying your trade in North London. How much of an impact does that amazing symbiotic relationship have on the university team?
It's so huge. I know Byrnes and I will probably talk about the men's team a little bit more this evening, but for the women's side, Poppy Leach, captain at Exeter Chiefs, coaching this side, so many of these players going into pre-season training, getting those cup opportunities. And I know there's been that talk about Exeter Chiefs these first couple of seasons have relied on foreign talents, but they're really developing some young guns in the likes of Katie Buchanan, Maisie Allen, Nancy McGillivray. They're names that are starting to roll off the tongue, and they're coming through this university pathway.
Backwards.
It's a link that we hope to see between Durham and DMP in future years. It's starting. We are seeing the foundations being laid. We're seeing the fruits of that work, but not quite as strongly forged yet as what we're seeing down here in Exeter.
No advantage coming. 7 on the floor, tackling.
Durham playing with the insurance policy there, and the referee calls time on that. They'll have another chance to exit. May took the last one as a quick tap, but it looks like here they're going to hand the ball to Summer O'Brien of the aforementioned DMP, who sends it out of the rubber crumb. into the throngs watching on. And Durham finally exiting their 22 for what feels like the first time in about 5 minutes.
It really does. I was also going to say that's probably the quickest I've ever seen a ball come back onto the crumb when it's gone over the fence. But yeah, it's been the tale of the half, really. Durham have been under the cosh, but they're holding on by the skin of their teeth, admittedly. But they're keeping this Exeter side frustrated, and against the backdrop of that wall of noise there, trying to do what they can do at the line-out.
Well, the pressure tells. Durham still have it, but Exeter's line speed is voracious, and it's another double hit. Harry called it. They are hunting in packs, these women, and they are coming up with the goods. Arch predators on the rubber crumb here at main site. Dads finds Thomas.
No.
Dads again. Oh, it's just knocked on by Willett.
Knock on advantage.
Durham now with the advantage. Slow, ponderous ball. And we will have the scrum. Just a roll of the head there from Dads. Might have taken a bit of contact there. She's up, nodding, she's all right.
Yeah.
Made of tough stuff, Lossie Dad. She'll play on until she's physically dragged off of that pitch, if needs be. In fact, most of the players out there today, I think, would be off the same mindset. You look at this setup for Exeter in attack. You can see what they're trying to do with the ball out the back, using that passing option of Titcombe at 12 to release those speedsters on the wing. Durham, though, to their credit, holding on so far, but you do get that sense that it feels like it's a creaking door that could open very, very shortly.
It's the figure of Cooper Vuna in the background there in that enormous beanie, just watching his charges. He's picked the right seat for this opening 20 minutes of rugby. The ball has been coming in his direction throughout. Well, it's a little stutter step from Gordon. Bit of width on the ball here now from Durham. Chicken wing offload, and it goes to hands. That was remarkable, and Gordon has it again. Quicker ball now for May. This is better. It's another fine double hit. Exeter strip the ball. It's Hayes who comes up with it, and it's a big, meaty carry from Exeter's forwards. They're playing with an advantage. There's width if they can use it. Lurking on the wing is Riley, but they don't need her.
Alicia Skeets, fantastic work there from the prop. Bucock got her side on the board. First of all, it's the front row union doing the job for their side so far. And I think you look at that try, it's that ferocity in defence, that work of T-Sharp to strip the ball in contact, and then that presence of mind to not just play it out the back, to put her head down, to go forward, see the space. And again, we saw it with that first try for Bucock. There's no stopping an Exeter side from that far out, and you can see from those celebrations just what it means to those players.
Durham are the reigning league champions. They were the ones lifting silverware at the end of last season, but Exeter, they are back at the top table, and they are proving that they are here to stay. A real statement of intent from Poppy Leach and her women. And now a chance for Abby Willett, who's been in fine form off the tee this season, to make it a 7-pointer.
An important kick for Willett as well. So sharp off the tee in those first couple of matches. Lines that one up and it drifts just to the left of the upright. But Exeter 10 points to the good. Merrin Doidge there running the water for her side as well. I think we talk about that pathway. Merrin Doidge graduated last year. Still so hugely involved, playing for Chiefs week in, week out, and still here supporting her side that she played for as a fresher.
10 minutes.
Exeter in double figures in their first season, back up in the Women's National League. Bringing you this one live, of course. There will be more live streams as the season continues. Up next for these two sides, Durham, they're at home against Loughborough. And we will be at Kingsholm next week with Exeter on your screens again as they go up against Cup champions Hartbury. It's a deep restart. Exeter with plenty to do. But the blood will be coursing right now for the women in white and green. Torasata spins it out. It's through the hands of Brennan.
Yeah, well done,
working their way back towards the fans. The Crocodiles lost its head, but the crowd have not got any quieter.
Leave it. Never release.
Torasata dodds. Lovely little inside ball. Picks out Palmer. It's very well read by the Durham midfield defence, though.
Release, no!
You can read Jess Thomas coming all you like, but it's quite another thing stopping her. It's the same move from Dads. She finds leverage. Will they try it again? Will Exeter go for the hat-trick of dinky inside balls? Here it is, the truck up. Now look out for the tricksy play. They were playing under an advantage, and Torresata looked to the referee there. She wanted that penalty to come. That's quite an interesting move, because it felt like they could have played on there.
No clear release.
I think they could, but Exeter, how they've started this game, how they've started this season, they are so confident in their set piece. She chatted to Poppy Leach all day, any day, about set pieces, about scrums, about line-outs. She absolutely loves them, and you can see that within her side as well. And I think for Exeter, they've got that try on the board. They know what they can do from close range in that 22. The safe bet is to rely on the boot of Dad to set them up, as they've just done.
Poppy Leach is someone that you will have worked with closely, so I'd just love to get a word on her, because I've covered her in the Premier 15s a fair bit, spoken to her on Media Day this year ahead of the WNL. She is such a charismatic and compelling coach.
She really is. She's an unbelievable person, first and foremost. Lives and breathes the sport, lives and breathes rugby in Exeter. Absolutely everything that she does is around improving it, building it, and what she's done with this women's programme is quite unbelievable. Took over after that title-winning season in the Bucks Gold final at Twickenham. Had to rebuild this side from scratch, and you're really starting to see it all come to fruition now.
That line-out just turned over by club president Jessica Visoy. Our first look at her with hands on the ball. It's through the hands of O'Brien. It comes loose. Exeter are the quickest to react, the quickest to pounce. The ball's in touch, but yet again, it is back with the hosts.
Back with the hosts again. Pressure on Durham again, and not just from those men's players on the far side as well. It's coming at them from the set piece. It's coming at them in a friendly, entertaining way from the sideline, but it's the pressure is building and building and building at the moment. Exeter really doing well to stay in this part of the field. Torresata there just speaking to Lottie Dads, and I wouldn't be surprised here if they try and get ball in hand for Naomi Brennan to see what she can do at 13.
Penny for the thoughts of Kupavuna, Durham's head coach. He still stood beneath those uprights down the end of the field. I imagine he's coming up with a plan to just get the ball in their hands and keep it there.
Hold, 9, hold.
Oh, to have possession stats for this one. It's through the hands of Dads. Here is Titcombe, round the back, out to the full-back. It's Willett with the ball now. Fantastic hit from Summer O'Brien. So quick off the line, but her opposite number still got it. She's well wrapped up, and that is a huge turnover for Durham. A little bit of a boost for the women in purple when they needed it the most.
They really did need it. It was a really good bit of ingenuity from Abby Willett to realise hadn't been held, get up and play on, but credit again there has to go to that Durham pack there. It looked like Charlotte Gordon, the centre, that managed to get herself back and make the tackle, and her side needed it there, because otherwise Willett looked like she had one eye for the try line.
Don't know if you can hear it at home through our headsets, through our microphones, but it is gusty here at the main site at Exeter Sports Centre. We're used to the breezes of Sandy Park, and this one is easily its match. Through the hands then of Martin F. Bailey. She's played sevens with the Spanish under-18 side. She's used to a quick, nippy game, and she's getting absolutely none of that so far. Durham just cannot string together the phases.
Counter-work's good. Yeah, counter-work's good. Play on.
Ferocious counter-ruck from the women in green. Martin F. Bailey again pops it up. Finds Barrett, who in turn finds her fly half again. It's a looping ball over the top. What a carry from Massey. Plenty of pace and all the power to go with it. And offsets for Rathas Reigas, the loose head. And all of a sudden, Durham with an advantage and sniffing the 22 for the first time in almost half an hour. What a moment this could be for the visitors, for the reigning league champions. Martin F. Bailey. Here is May. Martin F. Bailey waits again, in at first receiver over the top. Picks out O'Brien. She is met with interest.
Not running away.
Couple of ribs rearranged in contact there, I suspect. Visoy takes the direct route. Durham are going backwards here. but still the most promising passage of play we've seen of them yet.
2 not rolling away, so you can have the 1 down there, or you can have...
And a choice of penalties too.
You've got 9 not rolling away over here, and we've got 13 about on the blue line there. Fine, okay.
Going with the first one, I think that first one on Torresata looked a little harsh. You could see her scrambling for her life to get out of there, but the second one on the far side, definitely not rolling away. We've talked about it. It's been all Exeter. I'd love to go over to the Exeter analysts and see if I could get some real-time stats. But one break, one opportunity from Georgia Massey down this wing, and Durham right in the area they want to be for the first time in this match, and a chance for Araminta May to try and get her side moving.
It's exactly the same as them down there. That's 2 in a row. That's all right, just waiting.
We're praising the viewer's ability to get a ball back inside this cage earlier on. The ball's got... there we go. We have a ball. Play can resume. So, Durham with their first real attacking platform of the afternoon. This could be a huge moment in the context of this match, of their season, which they need to get back on track. And
not straight.
I think, just summing it up, the lineup wasn't straight.
Scrum or line out.
It's an overused expression, Harry, but that is a coach killer, to do all that work for 36 minutes and then to fluff your lines at line-out time.
So frustrating for Durham there. They're at exactly the place they wanted to be. You could see Araminta May speaking to Martin F. Bailey, speaking to Gordon about where they wanted to go with that attack. For Exeter, a big let-off, you'd have to say, and a chance now for them to clear their lines as well. We've been talking about that Exeter pressure in that Durham 22 for almost every single minute of this half so far. Now it's that Durham's defence turn to try and keep Exeter hemmed down in their half and build that pressure going into the break.
The ball is in and it is out immediately. A fine scrum from Exeter. Orchard sets off back into the centre of the pitch. Options on either side for Torresata, but she heads back the way they came.
Straight off, thank you.
10-0 still the score. Half-time looming large here on the rubber crumb.
Your player was in the way. Your player was in the way on the other side.
Made her Chiefs debut this season.
Ball's out, ball's out. Strikes it with her hands.
It's a caterpillar rock. Everyone's least favourite sight on a rugby pitch, but it gets the job done. It's slow ball, but Exeter still have it. Dads drops it to her laces. Finds turf. It's gathered. Here sets Gordon on a mazy run. There's width here. Durham with a chance. Durham inching their way closer finally to that evasive try line. So many options out wide as they spin it coast to coast back this way. Visoy with a carry. Durham sensing an opportunity, sensing a moment here as Brankin. She's well wrapped up.
Still your advantage.
Hits the pitch, back down the other way goes May. Visoy. Now a carry from Hannay. May assesses her options, picks out Brosnan. Patient play here from the women in Palatinate. They know the significance of this. Opportunities like this have been hard to come by in this clash, and here is Barrett. On a curving line, it's Willett who brings her down. Still, the ball stays with the visitors. Martin F. Bailey wants it. Finds Farathas Rehihas. Before the post now, Thomas Thompson in over the ball, shielding that one so it can find Hall. Over the top, bouncing ball, very well gathered by Julia.
Still playing advantage.
Durham still not making inroads, but this, by some margin, their longest period of possession, the best territory they have had. What a leg drive from Jessica Visoy. Martin F. Bailey through the hands of Gordon. Popped out to O'Brien. O'Brien finding Massey. She's got plenty of work to do, but up pops Julia again. It's in Martin F. Bailey's hand. She juggles it. We will come back for the advantage.
12 not rolling away.
The patience from Durham there.
Fantastic patience from Durham. You could see what that took out of that Exeter defence there as well. Several players blowing at the end of that defensive set. Really, really good there from Durham. And I'll tell you who I've been really, really impressed with in attack now, but in defence prior, was Isabella Hannay. Been really, really good over the ball for her side in her 22, as any good open side should be. and then really showing what she's made of there in attack.
Eddie's time is off, but it's your
She's
penalty.
played England age group, and you can see why the coaches like the look of her. Part of a Durham side, finally giving Exeter a taste of their own medicine. And now with the chance, oh so close to that whitewash, to get themselves on the board. Durham haven't scored a point yet in this Women's National League season. Their points difference for the 2 matches, minus 95. This would mean so much to them.
It really would. Sorry there, I was going to say, you just know how much this would mean to the side as a psychological boost, and that is some carry there from Thomas Thompson.
Clearly out of the way now.
Durham's tails are up now. Yet to score this season. Could they be about to do it now at the home of a great rival of theirs? It's been all one-way traffic so far, but they're stemming the tide and they're applying some pressure of their own. Patient pick and goes, and the patience comes good. It's Jazz Brankin, and at long last, Durham get their season up and running. A score for the reigning champions, back on track.
Right at the end of the half as well, a really, really crucial moment for Durham. It's been all Exeter, but one break, one penalty into that 22, and it's that clinical edge that they have needed, that they have shown, and Exeter are probably a little bit guilty of not showing themselves in that first half. I think as well there, Brankin, another player that has really shown what she's all about in defence, really shown what she's about now in the tight as well of her carrying, and that first try of the season, keeping it potentially within 3 points here, if O'Brien can add the conversion, sets up that second half beautifully.
Doesn't it just want to wet the whistle? So, Summer O'Brien with a very fine nudge of the ball. The flags go up.
Half time.
It's a full 7 points for the women in Palatinate. They will head in for the sheds with a firm foothold in this game. Half-time here at the Rubber Crumb. Exeter 10, Durham 7.
Basically, the ones that were the problem with it, everyone was just too slow at rolling away in the first 10 minutes. It got sorted out, and then there was just one other one. And so I chat with them about
Well, the players get 10 minutes to get their breath back, but no rest for the wicked, Harry. We've got to keep talking, but there's plenty to talk about from that first half. What do you think? Let's start with the home side. Poppy Leach, head coach of Exeter. What is she saying right now? Is it to not panic?
I think that's going to be the key message. You look at that first 35 minutes, really. Exeter all over Durham, just unable to get that conversion rate up in terms of getting over the line. 2 really, really well-worked tries. They know they can do it. They know they can get into those places in the field. They just need to trust themselves, trust their game plan. And I know that Poppy is somebody that says it to Chiefs all the time. She used to say it to me after games when I asked her how she thought the game went. It's about just keeping that composure, trusting your instincts and trusting in your ability.
You're very familiar with a lot of these players. Who are the ones who will step up in that case and just cool everything down?
I think there's so many leaders in this Exeter women's team. Tierney Sharp, she's not first team captain, but she's club captain, an experienced player, come through the ranks, knows what she's doing, and as well, people like Faye Leveridge, Jess Thomas, those leaders, those experienced heads that have been in and around this group for the best part of 4 or 5 years, or beyond in Jess's case, will be the ones to really calm the nerves.
And what about the ones that aren't even in the Matchday 23? You've mentioned that Meryn Doidge was running the water just then. We've got Maisie Allen, Katie Buchanan, Nancy McGivelry, these stars of the future of English rugby and of Exeter Chiefs rugby. Do you think they will have a part to play in the next 40?
I think they definitely will. In fact, we're talking about some of the names. There's Flo just to the right of us over there, Flo Robinson. The other players have been sort of cheering them on throughout. I know it's such a big part of women's rugby here in Exeter. When those players aren't able to play, they're at every single training session. They won't be in the changing rooms right now. They'll be leaving that to Poppy and those leaders on the field. But in terms of those messages, that bit of experience that they can potentially add and bring, it's going to be crucial for this side.
You might be able to see that along the back fence there, the men's teams, the first team and those not involved in a box fixture today have now drifted off. I suspect they're going to have to head down to Sandy Park because it's going to be so difficult to get a seat. The hottest ticket in town is to that match up against Cardiff. How much of a difference do you think they made in that first half? It certainly seemed to affect a few Durham line-out throws.
I think it did. It's huge. It's a fantastic day for the club to have the 2 streams here and to have that support for the women's team is brilliant. The pathway has been growing. The link There's always been obviously EU-RFC men, EU-RFC women, but it's become so much more tighter-knit. Coaches are going over from the men's side to help out Poppy, the likes of Exeter, and then that men's support base as well. I know whenever the men are playing at Topsham, and I had my day off last week, so I did the nice 8-hour round trip to come down and watch it.
I had my day off. How many days off do you get?
Well, we'll call it that. It was one, but there's no rest for the wicked. But all of the women's... Exactly, but all of the men's team were playing, all of the women's team were down watching, and I know it works the same way. If the men aren't playing, they're there supporting the women's team as well, and it's a fantastic joined-up programme here in Exeter.
Let's turn our attention to the women who've actually stayed out on the pitch. Again, you can see the bobble hat of Cooper Vuna just blowing around in this blustery rubber crumb setting. What do you think he is saying to these women right now?
I think for his side, they didn't really, obviously I know they're having to defend, but they didn't really do much until that final 5 minutes with ball in hand. And that, for me, I think will be their key message, is if we've had that one opportunity, look what we've done with it. We just need to build the phases, build the confidence, and get that territory as the crucial thing. They can't keep coughing the ball up in their own half. Every time they do, Exeter have been rampant and on their try line. That ball retention is going to be critical.
Do you think they changed something at the end there? Was there a different approach that allowed them to get into the 22, or do you think it was finally, you know, if you keep banging on the door enough, it'll come off?
I think it was probably a bit more of the latter. That pass, that long looping pass out to the wing, you saw them trying it several times in that first half. It didn't quite work on that far side for Megan Riley. It did to brilliant effect right in front of us for Georgia Massey. I think for Durham, that's where the game is, on the edge. If they can get themselves out into the edges, out into those wide channels, then you've got some really good matchups there with the Exeter wings and the Durham wings. But Durham has shown that they're right up for it there.
You will have been at Exeter during the tricky few years they had where they were champions of what is now the Women's National League. Then they were relegated, and then they have pulled themselves back up and look right at home at this top table. Durham are going through something similar now, and I'm certainly not saying they're going to get relegated. There's so much promise in this team. But what is it like to have the rug pulled out from under your feet when a really golden cohort graduates?
It's always a tricky one. I think for Poppy Leach as well, the interesting dynamic for her was she came straight off of playing in that final into coaching the team the next season. It's a challenge for any side. You're almost not quite starting from scratch because you've still got players that stay on, but to lose that many key voices, to lose that many experienced players and quality players as well, the number of them that are now turning out in the Premier 15s, is a big loss for any side. But you look at it, that first season Bucks National League, probably about half of that Exeter team had never played rugby before coming to university.
Amazing. And
you look at it, they still pulled it back, very nearly managed to beat the drop. But it was probably a good thing for the club. Obviously COVID got in the way, but that season probably was a really, really good thing last year in terms of building that depth. There's now experienced players here that are making the step up, a couple of freshers in the team this year as well, and bags and bags and bags of second-year players as well. And that second team really, really starting to pick up some results and some momentum too. It's in rude health.
Women's National League with 3 rounds played, this being a round 3 match, but a week later than the others. Edinburgh sitting pretty at the top, followed closely by Cardiff Met and Hartpury. Then there's a bit of a gap down to Exeter, Loughborough and Durham. It's early days, I know, and we've not had a chance to see all the teams in action just yet, but where do you think the big changes are going to come in those standings?
I think you look at it, Edinburgh, obviously a team that are always going to be in and around and at the top. Hartpury, it's a weird one. Last season was a little bit like the men's team used to be in Bucks Super Rugby in terms of just get into the playoffs and we know what we can do when we get there, and you saw that to some effect. I think if Durham are able to start getting points on the board as well, Loughborough, Exeter, anybody can beat anybody this season. And a bit like Bucks Super Rugby at the moment, where you've got that top 7 separated by so few points. I know it's only 10 games in the season, but there's that opportunity for everything to close right up going into those final rounds.
What is really impressive is seeing Edinburgh sat at the top, despite the fact that some of their absolute stars are away at the Women's World Cup taking place in New Zealand. Quarter-finals this weekend. The stage is set for a fantastic 2 days of rugby. Obviously, sadly, the Scots have gone home. They are out of the competition. But the tournament as a whole, what have you enjoyed the most about it?
Oh, it's been fantastic. I mean, I'm going to start with I've not enjoyed the early starts, but it's part of the commitment.
Try working on it, mate.
Well, yeah, exactly. I'm not one to talk there, am I? But no, it's been fantastic. I've spoken to I'll put Masari's hat on here. I've spoken to a couple of the players out there, Lottie Clapp, Alicia Corrigan. They've said from their perspective, out in New Zealand, everywhere they go, the fans are going mental. The players are up on the billboards. You've got packed out stands, you've got packed out crowds, people really taking an interest in it. And it's fantastic to see the quality on display as well. You look at what's going on back here as well, back home, that interest is really spiking, really peaking. The number of people that have been going to those morning World Cup match parties as well up in London has been brilliant to see. And I think it's just so good for the women's game. You've got another unbelievable season of Premier 15s coming up in the very near future. You've got the World Cup coming here in 2025, and having worked in women's sport for the last couple of years, working in it now long term, I really think we are in a golden period for women's rugby in this country.
There must be a sense at Saracens that you're preparing for quite the welcome home party, because the Red Roses, barring disaster, will return home with that trophy. But even if they don't, so many of your international players will come home showered in glory from the way they've conducted themselves. You've got Canadians, you've got Americans, you've got South African players at Saracens. Is the sense that this Premier 15s season, if it can catch that way, will be the biggest and best yet, and by quite some margin?
I think it really could. I mean, obviously there's been the issues going on off field with Worcester, with Wasps, although it's unbelievable to see that they're both going to be playing this weekend. I think that's fantastic to see.
Well put, well said.
But it's going to be a really exciting season. Sarries are away at Wasps this weekend, and I think everybody is thrilled to pieces that game's going ahead. Worcester are a side that are on the up, using lots of Bucks National League talent from yesteryear actually as well, with Joe Yatt. And I think, you've really got it this season, an opportunity to be bigger and better than ever, bigger attendances, bigger scores, bigger rivalries, and I think you've probably got 7 or 8 teams there that can beat each other.
Prem 15s is back on the 19th of November. Harry will be running around in his Wolfpack strip. I'll be knocking around a couple of the fixtures as well, and some of these women will no doubt be in action. We've got quite the game on our hands here at the Rubber Crumb at main site in Exeter. New kids on the block, leading the reigning champions, 10 points to 7. It is Lottie Dadds, who had a magnificent opening 40, who gets us back underway, and an early carry from Summer O'Brien. Durham looking to pick up where they left off. The first of our Women's National League live streams for the season. If this first 40 has been anything to go by, we are in for a treat. You're going to want to mark your cards, because this is unmissable stuff. Paula Raijas with a big carry to get herself back focused. And another one from Jess Visoy. She's driven backwards in the contacts, but it's swift ball for May, and on to Martin F. Bailey. Alicia Skeets almost stripped that one, but Durham just about cling onto it, and it's another carry from Visoy. Straight up the centre of the field. Quick ball for Durham. An electric start from the reigning league champions. It's placed backwards by Brosnan. Farathes Reijas plucks it. Has a chug. Another carry from Visoy. Someone had their half-time Haribo. She is flying. May through the hands of Martin F. Bailey. Out to O'Brien. O'Brien with a carry, somehow frees her hands. Finds the support line. But the referee calls us back, and it is Exeter who will have the ball.
Durham looked really threatening there. Whatever Cooper Vuna has said to them at half-time certainly seems to have done the job. Exeter just need to realign a little bit. They would have taken a knock, conceding that try right at the end of the first half. But an attacking opportunity here, a really good setup, pretty much in the middle of the field as well. But suddenly, after all that extra pressure in the first half, one score, one change in momentum, and we've got a real game on our hands.
Durham getting their first points of the season would have been an enormous boost. If they could get some table points to go with it, that would be the cherry on top of the cake.
Fine, if you're not happy, safety.
So no changes in the front rows. Skeets, Bucock, Thomas. Farathes Reijas, Brosnan, Thomas Thompson. It was Exeter just about edging the battle of the packs in the opening half. They won that amazing penalty right before our commentary position at about the 20-minute mark. They can build on that. They can build on this. Co-captain Torresata pops it in, and Orchard sets off the back of it, finds Titcombe. She's met by a Palacinate wall, but the ball is away quickly and cleanly. And Exeter just approaching the halfway line now. Thomas It's a big meaty carry. Dad's little wraparound pass finds Woolett, and now on the wing with space is Palmer. Palmer dances in off her wing, some fine footwork from the right winger.
9 in front of the back foot.
Through the hands of Woodman.
Penalty advantage, Green.
Exeter with a free hit here and a fine position with which to work. Dad's picks out Hayes.
Over.
Stretching those limbs. Dad's again. Out to McCall.
No clear lift there.
Exeter go again. They're close now. Looking for options there was Hayes, but she finds none, so takes the contact, brings it safely down. Dad's wraps it around to Titcombe. Here is Woolett. Gets her head down. Rolls through the tackle, presents it backwards. Exeter now with the ball. Palmer on the wing, dances in again off that touchline. She has been evasive when she's been able to get her mitts on it. Leverage. Takes the direct route this time, trucks it up, Exeter again. Inches out. Durham counter-rocking ferociously, but it's fizzed out. Dad's finds Brennan. Places it backwards, just about goes backwards. Willis again, another key involvement by the fullback. Dad's out to Palmer. She is well wrapped up by Martin F. Bailey.
Still in.
It's slower ball this time.
Yeah, thank you.
Torresata barks orders, off go her forwards. Exeter looking to strike back to open their account in the second half. Huge carry from Skeets. Right beneath the posts. Here is Bucock. Options to the right, options to the left. Exeter use the blind side. Dad's, and just evades the clutches of McCall.
Really unfortunate there for Exeter. A knock-on into touch, an option for Durham, and they've chosen the scrum. A little bit of concern there, though, with one of the Exeter players down. It looks like it's Lossie Dad's that's down. Really disappointing, though, there for Exeter in terms of that red zone accuracy and that red zone efficiency. But we didn't see much of that attacking dexterity, if you like, in the first half. Jodie Palmer popping up on both wings, showing what she's about. Abby Woolett in the middle of the field as well. Really positive play from Exeter, even if they couldn't quite apply the finishing touches.
Mark's here.
All the possession, all the territory in that first half, and just the 2 tries to show for it. But here is Durham with the put-in, 5 metres out from their try line. And as we saw in the first half, Harry, Exeter are not going to make their lives easy as they attempt to exit here.
No, the pressure really is on Durham here to try and get themselves out of a really sticky, dangerous situation again. Well, you don't want to say it's a free hit at the scrum, because if you cough up a penalty, you know that the opposition are going to boot it down the field. But it's a free hit for Exeter in terms of applying the pressure here and seeing if they can get as much pressure on the fly half as possible. And then, as I say that, the number 8 picks up and goes herself.
That is a fantastic carry from the base from Libby Hall. Described it as a sticky situation. Well, Durham, made of Teflon right now. That was a fine exit. Exeter struggling to wrap up Hall, who made such inroads, and what an offload that is from O'Brien. She does brilliantly as she falls to just find one of her support runners, but the ambition comes at a cost a phase later. It's coughed up, and Exeter now
just a knock-on
will have their own put-in just shy of their 10-metre line.
Jess Thomas there, you can see, rousing the troops, ready to go again for the set piece. This is what she lives for on a rugby field. But both teams at the start of this second half, that first half really cagey, Exeter obviously dominating, but both teams sort of not wanting to risk playing it out to the backs. Whatever's been said to both of them at the second half, you can really see that attacking width, that opportunity starting to come to both teams, and you get the sense that the tries are going to be flowing very soon.
It's Durham's turn to turn the screw at scrum time. That was an almighty shove. Torresata really struggling to cling on to that one. The counter-up from the women in Palatinate, absolutely monstrous. Exeter with the ball in their hands now. Ball in 2 hands by Abby Woolett. They were playing under an advantage.
5, driving on the floor.
Durham's discipline just costing them at the breakdown there. So great was their eagerness to turn that ball over as Torresata desperately tried to keep it in her hands.
Jasmine Brankin there, the guilty party, and Lottie Dads will send this one back down into the Durham half with a really good touch finder there. Both teams, that breakdown's becoming a lot more of a battle, but a little bit more of a mess, you'd say, at the start of this second half, with the pressure really going on from both sets of back row. And I think, looking at it, the game is as tight as it is. We're near enough 10 minutes into this second half now, and whichever side gets control of that breakdown, you would say would be the side that you reckon will take this contest.
That's the middle.
Someone who's going to be up close and personal with that breakdown is Ella Merrifield, wearing 21, who's just entered the fray. Hayes picks out at the line out there. The maul is formed and the green and white wave begins to pick up some momentum. That is going in one direction and one direction only. What a push from Poppy Leach's women. Torresata beckons for support, and here it is in the form of a rushing Hermione Titcombe.
No.
She picks it out again. Durham somehow turning that one over. It's in the hands of Merrifield. What an introduction to the game at the heart of that one.
Scrum knock-on advantage.
Hall wants it. Hands up. Finds Gordon, who dances around, dives on that one, pops it up to find Riley. That purple scrunchie bundled backwards though. It's a big shove from Visoy. She's been playing like a club president. It's been a performance full of heart, full of hustle. Big hit there from Orchard, but the ball stays with the visitors. Martin F. Bailey hands it to O'Brien, drops it to her laces. Torresata with plenty to do to gather that one. She does well. Oh, but in over the top of it is a body and Palatinate. Merrifield's there to gather the offload. Durham suddenly knocking on the door of the Exeter 22. We know that they can take their chances when they find themselves in prime positions like this. Thomas Thompson over the top. Here is Julia.
Backwards, straight back.
Fantastic hit from Thomas. Dislodges the ball. Exeter in over it, but it stays with Durham. For Reijas. It's turned over by Skeets. Exeter with the ball. It's tit for tat, this. Possession is name of the game, and it's Exeter who will retain it as the whistle blows.
I say, what a breathless couple of minutes there from both teams. Really, really good pressure from Durham. Referee said that that they'd released Abby Willett on the floor, straight over the ball, picking it up, applying that pressure again. And you talked about, at the top of the show, Claire, about getting that first try and what it could do for confidence. You're seeing it here. It's a completely different Durham outfit in the second half, and it's making for a really, really entertaining game of rugby. And suddenly, from Exeter dominating, needing to get those conversion points in, it's just becoming a little bit more nervy, a little bit more cagey, and it feels like it really is anyone's game at the moment.
Just how we like it, poised on a knife edge. Durham again with a big old shove there. And I've got to say, Merrifield's introduction to the game has really made a difference. She flew around the set piece there to knock the ball from the hands of Exeter. But it's they who come up with the penalty. We talked about little momentum shifts. That could have been one just there.
It really could. A huge one there, holding on the floor. You could see Maddie Bucock cheering like her life depended on it when the referee's arm went up. Co-captain, she knows how important those moments are for her side. Another good touch finder there from Dads, and Exeter getting a little bit of their own medicine from the first half in terms of being under pressure in that danger zone and needing to test out that defence and really, really trust their basics. As Maddie Bucock asked for the ball, all of those supporters seem to have disappeared to go get the coaches for the second half, and sadly the ball carriers seem to have disappeared with them.
I reckon they've been blown away. Just look at the flag on the assistant referee there. It is picking up a gale here. It's going to be a tough ask of Maddie Bucock. And she's got to get past the Inspector Gadget arms of Jess Visoy. Stretches up, gets a paw to it. But Durham again, just letting themselves down at the breakdown. It's proving such an influential part of this second half.
He really is, and someone that's really coming to the fore for Exeter is T Sharp in that second row, over the ball. Fantastic work there. Jess Thomas giving her a huge well done and a pat on the back there as well.
I just want to shout out, actually, and we're about to see it. That little cardboard sign you can see there says looking sharp. I reckon that could be housemates, teammates, family. I don't know who they are, but I see your sign game and I like it.
I know when we turned up this afternoon, a fair few of the whole women's club have bought signs with them today, but specifically targeted at individual players.
Middle's there.
And yeah, fantastic to see all of that support for the women's outfit here today, and a couple of nice little individual shout-outs there for the likes of T Sharp.
And I'm going to do an individual shout-out now to Chloe Broom, who is wearing number 21 rather than Ella Merrifield. Thank you to the Durham bench who've just corrected me there. What an impact she has had on this game. She deserves all the credit because she has really been a game changer.
21 offside.
Exeter playing under the advantage there, so the ball is back with Dads. She will look to bury this deep in the 22. She's got the wind at her back. This should help her out. She can be brave here, and so she proves. That is a fine nudge.
A really good nudge there. You talk about being a game changer. Unfortunately, it was Chloe Broom there that was penalised by the referee at the side there. But you talk about game-changing moments. A couple of quick penalties there for Exeter, really been under the cosh, and suddenly right back in that 22, right back where they want to be. And you look at what they did with that maul first time round before Torresata played it out of the back. I'd suspect that the pack, if they have their way, will probably want to try and keep this one tight and see what they can do.
They play it really safe this time at the line-out. Perhaps the right call there. Possession. Something they've been struggling to maintain this second half. The maul creaking forward. Just beginning to rumble now, Exeter. And all of a sudden they are 10 metres out. Their captain fizzes it out through the hands of Titcombe. Big crash up there from two of the Exeter backs. Sharp. She's got the supporters and she's got the leg drive to match. Over the top of the purple defensive line is Niamh Orchard. Playing for the Chiefs this season. You can see the dividends that is paying. Exeter go again. Looking for their third of the afternoon.
Short.
It's Skeets, called short, but they are oh so close now. They can taste the whitewash. Durham going to the well. Every hit counts at this stage, so Exeter go back the other way through the hands of Dads. Quick ball. They've used force, now for some flair. Width, the name of the game here, as Dads wrapped up by Barrett. What a hit by the blind side. Torresata picks out Orchard. She has been everywhere. Here is Thomas.
No.
The only Exeter front rower not to get over the whitewash so far today. And they are denied once again. Durham have been going to the well defensively, and they might not be coming up with points, Harry, but you've got to say the shift they are putting in without the ball shows just how much potential this side has got.
It really does. You can see the referee there just having a word there as well with Scarlett Thomas-Thompson about the number of penalties that Durham is starting to give away at the breakdown. There's a brilliant attacking set there by Exeter. Jess Thomas really unlucky just with that extra roll, but they're right where they need to be, and you can see at the moment Torresata, Bucock, Jess Thomas, those experienced heads, those co-captains having that conversation, and Torresata seems to be quite keen to go to the corner when the Exeter player, and it's Katrina Hayes who is down, is helped from the field, and sadly that looks like that's the end of Katrina Hayes' afternoon.
So Katrina Hayes is heading off to be replaced by Jojo Loxton.
Just be careful when attack with those extra rolls. Couldn't keep playing the advantage.
See how animated Torresata was during that gathering of the leaders of the group. And the whole of the Exeter team, someone who's very much led from the front today.
Tackle 15.
Softly spoken, but plays with her heart on her sleeve. Through the hands of Thomas, now Dads. Leverage, gets her head down, takes the contact gladly. Happy to provide the platform for Thomas to pick and go again. The big old burrow from Exeter. And it's Anna Woodman who comes up with the ball. Exeter have their third.
That is a huge moment in this game. Huge moment for Anna Woodman as well, first-year student going in for the try. And for Exeter as well, all of that pressure, all of that
gets her head down, takes the contact
difficult
gladly.
defensive work that they had to do, really coming to the fore there with the attacking game. We saw the hands, we saw the opportunities out wide, but yet again, for the third time this afternoon, the Pack just say, leave it to us, we'll get you over the line.
And such maturity for a side littered with freshers and those who aren't used to representing this Exeter first team, to just know and trust in their process and believe that they've got exactly what's needed to get the score. And for the first time today, Willett pops on her kicking boots, slots it over, adds 2 points that could prove crucial, because this one is certainly not dead and buried.
It really isn't, and that is crucial for Exeter as well, to take it up to that 10 points. Katrina Hayes coming off is a big loss for them. Jojo Loxton, a really, really good player, only knows one way, and that is straightforward with ball in hand. But for Exeter to suffer that loss of an experienced senior player, but then come up trumps with a try like that, is really, really going to spur them on.
Exeter leading 17 points to 7. They've won one, lost one this season, but that loss really bothered Poppy Leach. She said they should have come away with the win in that result. They're here in the Women's National League, freshly promoted. They want to stay here, they want to make their mark, and a win over Durham would be such a statement of intent.
Restart with the scrum here.
Just pause for a moment while co-captain Tora Salter stretches out, by the looks of it, some cramp in her calf. Dad's is there to lend a helping hand. That's what teammates are there for.
That's what teammates are there for. It's what the halfback union are there for as well. 9 and 10 together. If hopefully for Exeter, Tora Salter will be able to continue. If not, Lauren Summers on the bench. Another really, really good, lively 9. Loves a little dart from the breakdown if she does come on. And that match, round 1 away at Cardiff Met, really dragged her side back into the game, helped them level it up before Met scored right at the end of that one to snatch the victory. But that's the brilliant thing about, you look at this Durham side there, you've seen Chloe Broom come on at scrum half for Araminta May, 2 brilliant players pushing each other at scrum half. Exeter have got exactly the same with Summers and Tora Salter. Tora Salter again made of stern stuff and up to continue.
What is it with Exeter sides? You can tell me, you've been around these parts for a while. What is it with Exeter sides and dramatic finishes to matches? It seems to be all they know, because they had another one against Loughborough last week.
It really does. I mean, I watched the footage of that one back with that conversion in the corner for Loughborough. It's absolutely mental. I know the pre-season fixture they had against Cardiff Met as well. That came down to the final minute.
No one in Exeter has any nails, do they? They're just constantly biting them off, watching their rugby teams in action. Right, Tora Salter, cramp parked. Don't think Orchard's known cramp in her life. She has been going all game, such an engine on the number 8. Tora Salter out to Dads. Here is Willett, wind in her sails after that fine conversion, and offsets Jodie Palmer.
Let it go, let it go.
Grabs a key 10 or 15 metres. It's lovely quick hands from T Sharp. Here is Orchard again in the midfield. Catches it in midair, carries all of that momentum into the Palatinate defensive line. Brennan. Exeter putting real width on the ball here. Is that the confidence, Harry, that comes of getting a third score?
I think it definitely does. I was just about to credit Martin F. Bailey as well. Some shot she put in on Orchard in the middle of the field for a fly half on a number 8. But yeah, you can see it with Exeter there. They've got that confidence. They've got that advantage of over a score, which is crucial in the grand scheme of things. And 3 tries in, hunting that bonus point as well. Abby Willett getting her hands on the ball. First time really we said her name in attack this afternoon, and I think you can really see that frustration from not being able to exploit those opportunities starting to come through with the way they're trying to exploit the wide gaps.
It's been good up till now.
Chloe Broom wearing 21, captain for this Durham side. So good to see her back in action. She spoke to Dave Rogers at the start of the season, as you saw earlier on in the show, and she said a successful season for this Palatinate outfit is going back to back. A bit of an Everest to climb. starts right here, right now. 10 points the deficit. 17 minutes on the clock.
Purple.
And Durham are not going to get a foothold back in this game if they go early at the scrum.
No, you can see Thomas Thompson there protesting to the referee. He's made his mind up on that one as well. It's been a little bit of a minefield at the scrum for both teams, I've got to be honest, watching it, in terms of what they've been able to get away with. And Jess Thomas then, again, knows one way, and there she is onto T-sharp.
Just a collision for me.
Uncompromising all afternoon, Thomas. Hasn't taken a single backward step and has flattened a fair few women wearing purple. That was a wonderful little duck and a roll and a weave from Naomi Brennan. Fabulous footwork. Faye Leveridge, last year's captain. Carries hard, but she's turned over, but the ball will stay with Exeter. No clear release from Durham. The breakdown remaining paramount as 15 minutes left is looming large. And we felt this might be coming. There's been talk of repeated infringements.
Too many in a row.
Izzy Hannay will spend 10 minutes on the naughty step. Durham doing brilliantly to keep... Oh, no, it did find touch. Thought they'd conjured up a little moment of magic. But Durham down to 14, Exeter with the player advantage. And in a position they will certainly not want to squander.
A crucial player for them as well, with the way Hannay's been playing so far this afternoon. A really, really important opportunity for Exeter here then. A player down in the pack, a player that's been causing a lot of damage to that Exeter driving game with her defensive work. Maddie Bucock there, you can see the focus in the eyes as she lines this one up. And again, I suspect Exeter will resort to type here if they get the ball.
Jess Visoy has been a menace at the line-out all afternoon. Bucock will be waking up in cold sweats about that woman. Woodman. Try scoring hero just moments ago, and now putting in the hard yards. Doing the grunt work. It's not all crossing whitewashes when you're wearing 6. Dads finds Orchards again, puncturing the gain line for fun. She makes such inroads, grabs a couple of inches she had no right to, and at the heart of a penalty. Can't help but feel that the referee might be looking to go to his pocket again. Durham cannot stay on the right side of the law here.
They really can't. You can hear the conversation there between the Durham captain, Thomas Thompson, and the referee, Maddie Bucock. You could see there, so eager just to tap the ball and go, hunting a second try for herself. But yeah, they can't stay on the right side of the referee. It's that pressure coming in from Exeter, and you can hear him talking to Thomas Thompson there now about what he's seeing at the breakdown.
We've had 7 down there. I spoke to you before, didn't I? We've had 4 penalties in a row, and we had a 5th one, 7 not releasing. Down here, clearly hands beyond and then back onto the ball. Just have a chat. It's just about competing at realistic times. All right?
It's just about competing at realistic times. Hard to make those decisions with cool heads when you're under as much pressure as Durham have found themselves.
Mark's here. I will step away.
It's tricky to get the breakdown right at the best of times, let alone when you've green and white waves beating on your shore, when your defence feels like sandbags against a flood. And at the heart of that one is Thomas.
Back feet, ladies.
Adds some grist to the mill, and Exeter go again. It's a brace for Skeets. There is the bonus point score. Exeter have 4 in front of delighted home support. We've said it before, we will say it again. They are not here just to be part of this top division. Exeter are here to compete. Mark your cards, keep an eye on these women. Exeter look right at home in the Women's National League.
Fantastic score there from Alicia Skeets. You could see Jess Thomas taking that one quickly, eager to get over the line herself. And you can see that the damage that those destructive runners in the front row for Exeter is doing to that Durham defence. Skeets in for her second try. Woollett adds the conversion, and Exeter, I think it's another one that's worth pointing out, their first try bonus point back in the Bucks National League.
Byrnesy wasn't wrong. You are encyclopedic, Harry. It's so great to have you alongside me. And also, as someone who's worked so closely with this team over the years, you'll genuine joy at how well they're executing today. 24-7. Exeter lead the reigning Women's National League champions. Durham with a mountain to climb, and Exeter with all the momentum right now. 12 minutes to play here on the Rubber Crumb.
Yeah, well done. Excellent work.
As Bucock carrying hard off the restart there. Dads.
No, leave it. Four was clearly in the way.
Happy to play make, but also very happy to drop a shoulder and carry hard. And that was a fine carry from McCall.
Holding, clear lift. No.
Durham for the first time in a little while coming up on the right side of that one. They have the penalty. Hands on hips from Captain Broom. And Durham go quickly. It's through the hands of Thomas Thompson. She's been remonstrating with the ref, and now she can take out some of that frustration on the Exeter defensive line. Martin F. Bailey. Big hits coming in from the women in green and white. Martin F. Bailey setting off there, but forgetting to bring the ball with her. Doesn't matter. Megan Riley will add a carry.
All back.
Slow ball. Barrett, without a scrum half available to her, picks it up and goes it herself. Ball's loose. Picked up, it's Titcombe who has it tucked under one arm, under all sorts of pressure. Does brilliantly to get it away. Ball is knocked on. Exeter will have the put in just outside their 22-metre line. We just had a couple of changes rung. On for Durham comes Paris McMahon. And on for Exeter now is Tilly Westwood wearing number 21. Spent plenty of time at Bristol over the years. Now based in Exeter, time with England under 18s. This is her first appearance in an Exeter jersey. What a moment for the 18-year-old.
Fantastic moment for her. A couple more changes as well. First one in the front row, Georgie Barker on for Alicia Skeets. Fantastic day Skeets has had in terms of that work at the scrum and try-scoring feats, obviously, as well. And Lauren Summers on at scrum half as well. We've talked up what she can do with ball in hand. And an opportunity here if Orchard releases the ball.
A lovely quick tip-on pass from Summers, her first involvement this afternoon. We talked about Sharp being a pentathlete once upon a time. All of that fitness, she's still going, she's still carrying. In off her wing is Jodie Palmer. She makes some inroads, and now it's through the hands of Westwood. In at first receiver, out onto the wing. Granger gets her head down. Tessa Granger, wearing 22.
No advantage coming.
Replaces Megan McCall, who had a busy afternoon. Leach ringing the changes. Is that for fresh legs, for added impetus, or do you think she actually might feel safe enough at this stage to give some of her youngsters a run out?
I think it's probably the added impetus. We talked about Lauren Summers and Matilda Torres-Sater and the dynamic you have in terms of Torres-Sater emptying the tank for 60-65 minutes and Lauren Summers basically coming on and then adding another gear to the attacking play. Tessa Granger as well, somebody that played a lot on the wing last season. Kate Buchanan's not involved today for Exeter University, but there is an absolute plethora of back three talent here in Exeter. Abby Willett, Jodie Palmer, obviously, and Meg McCall starting today, but then to have the likes of Westwood, Granger, Buchanan when she's back in the mix, it's a place where Poppy Leach is spoilt for choice.
It's a very, very lovely conundrum to have, and they're playing with the wind at their back too. So the last 10 minutes, if Exeter can just keep some cool heads, manage this one well. Durham, though, with an advantage at the scrum. We've been talking about Exeter's backs, but how about that from the Durham forwards? Just letting Exeter get pinged. And now barking orders is Martin F. Bailey. Passes the ball to O'Brien, who's been in charge of touch-finding duties all afternoon. And does well there.
17. I know you're new on it, it's just you had the 2 free kicks in the first half.
8 minutes left to play. 17 points the difference. You feel like Exeter might be away and clear, but stranger things have happened, especially in these leagues.
They certainly have. I think for Durham as well, even if the game may be beyond them now, one score and they're right back in the hunt for that bonus point. And in terms of the effort they've applied to this game today, that in terms of defence, the attack that they've shown as well. A couple of quick tries, and they'll certainly be pleased, I think, to come away from here with a losing bonus point.
And their first try of the season. So important to just get a score. It was Hall who was found with that line-out ball. Thomas Thompson now.
Split up, let it go.
Driven backwards hard is Emily Pye. It's just come onto the field. Julia with a carry, upended, orange boots flailing. Through the hands of Hall again. Visoy again. Just doesn't get tired. A Duracell bunny in the midfield. McMahon fizzes out, peppering that right wing. Exeter strip the ball. It's Westwood who's done very well to turn it over. Marking her first appearance in Exeter colours.
Never on the ball.
Barker. Roly-polies through contacts. Woodman. Driven backwards by Visoy. Two hard hitters going up against one another, and it's the woman in Palatina who edges that battle. Here is Brennan. Has to fight to put that one backwards, but does so. Summers, not got a number on her back, playing scrum half. Harry promised us zip. Let's see what she brings to the field. Exeter building the phases now patiently, oh so patiently.
And away.
Granger with another carry. Hasn't she looked threatening each time she gets her hands on the ball? And off sets Jess Thomas.
No clear left.
She's been around the block a few times, and you can tell. Would not take no for an answer there. Carried half the Durham defensive line with her. It's out to Westwood again.
And away. Good. Much better, Durham. Thank you.
Westwood again taking on all comers. Palmer puts her pedal to the metal, dragged into touch by a double Durham hit. But what a territorial game from Exeter. Playing smart there.
Really playing smart. You saw what Tessa Granger brings to this side whenever she's on the field there. It's not just that initial pace, it's that power to keep going through that tackle and break the tackle. Credit, though, to Summer O'Brien in the corner there on that other wing. Jodie Palmer looked for all money like the try line was beckoning. Superb final tackle, and Jess Thomas there with that carry. You know what you're going to get from Jess Thomas whenever she gets the ball in hand.
Over to Izzy Hannay again with the line out. Does well, finds her mark. O'Brien aims for the centre of the pitch, finds turf. It's a tricky bounce, but it's diffused very well by Tessa Granger through the hands of Dads. Out to Tidcombe on the wing. It's a fine tackle from Georgia Massey. Durham's scramble defence again, proving firm. But here come the Exeter players. Head down, a fend like a piston there.
Your advantage all offside.
Loxton. Big carry, oh so close now. Westwood. Out and an easy jot down. Exeter have their fifth, and it's Jodie Palmer. She has threatened all afternoon, and now she's got the try to go with the like a piston there. An exclamation point on a fine performance by the hosts.
A fantastic try there for Exeter. Jodie Palmer getting her reward for so much enthusiasm with ball in hand whenever she's been running with the ball. And Exeter, we've seen it through the pack, we've seen the backs trying to spread it, and we've seen now there it all clicking into place, everything working in unison. A really, really good try, and I think credit as well there. Faye Leverage at the end could have tried to put her head down, go herself. Sensible option, play it out to the winger to put the ball down.
Tilly Westwood, welcome to Women's National League. Look how much it means to her. Her first appearance and her first points too. Adds the extras, an Exeter lead. 31 points to 7 with just 3 minutes left on the clock.
It's been a really impressive second half performance, you have to say, from Exeter. Durham really came out, looked really threatening at the start of that second half, and they've nullified that threat, built it for themselves, and you're now starting to see everything that Poppy Leach would have wanted to see from her side come into the fore.
They're leading the second half 21 points to 0. That is emphatic. And with a trip to Kingsholm next week, which is not an easy place to go and play, they'll be rubbing their hands at the opportunity. They'll really feel, won't they, Harry, like they can beat anyone on their day.
I think they do, 100%. Like we said, anybody can beat anybody in this league, and that's the beauty of it. But the confidence grows with the wins, and especially a comprehensive bonus point win, if this one appears to be. That will set them up so well going into that battle with Hartpury.
Poppy Leach is on the touchline to our left, stroking her chin, always seeking perfection. No doubt there'll be plenty in the post-match review, but as things stand, Exeter look headed for a big fat points haul from this one and a notable scalp. Lovely quick hands, pirouetting through the tackle was Dads, but Martin F. Bailey not giving up just yet, wraps up her opposite number, and it's untidy for Exeter. Titcombe
advantage. High tackle.
Carries hard. Exeter with another free hit here. There was a high tackle from one of Durham's players. Leverage still going.
Short penalty advantage, still green.
That's Bucock. Oh, what line speed from Paris McMahon there. But they did have that advantage there. We will return to the mark. Exeter will have one final bite at the cherry.
High tackle there in the middle of the field. Tilly Westwood then taking over the kicking duties off of the tee and ball in hand as well, looking to send this one into touch for her side. Really good nudge. Thought that might have ended up dropping on our heads for a second there, but it just went the far side of us. And yeah, like you said, one last opportunity for Exeter to finish with a final flourish.
It's on the line, yeah.
On the 10-metre line. Maddie Bucock, who has just gone and gone and gone this afternoon. An 80-minute performance at hooker is no mean feat. Mind you, Jess Thomas is still on, and I pity the coach that has to try and pull her off a rugby field.
Jess has been doing this a long time in a university shirt. I think she wants to keep racking up all of those minutes and as many opportunities as she can.
Just knock on.
We've been piling praise on Exeter, so that's an incongruous moment there. Just knocked on. 3 minutes. Thank you very much, Maddie Bucock. Very good to know. 3 minutes left on this one. We'll have a scrum just shy of the 10-metre line. Definitely time for another score, Harry.
Hopefully so, from an Exeter perspective, and for Durham as well. If they're able to get another try in this match, the result might be as good as gone, but as a confidence booster for them going forward for the rest of the season. I was going to say there, if you're waiting for a time check or you're waiting to see who scored, you can always rely on the voice of Maddie Bucock to tell you on the ref mic.
In my experience, scrum halves are always the noisiest, but hookers run them close.
100%. And I think that's the thing you've got here with Exeter. Lauren Summers, Matilda Torresater, maybe not quite the loudest from half-back, but Maddie Bucock more than makes up for that as at hooker.
So just a reminder, this is a round 3 match. We saw Hartpury edge Edinburgh away on the road. Big result for Hartpury, 15-12. Cardiff Met come out on top against Loughborough, 26-12. This to complete the round. Ball's out the back. Strong final scrum from Durham. It's Gordon who has it in the midfield and offsets one of her fellow backs. It's placed backwards by Ella Merrifield.
And away. Good work, 21. All still in.
The women in Palatinate. One final throw of the dice. It would be so sweet for them to leave with a second score. Bit of positive energy to carry into next week. It's a lovely tip pass, and Libby Hall has it in open space. An outrageous goose step from the number 8, and offsets Pye.
Good timing.
Ball still with the women in Palatinate.
And away.
Absolutely balling was Libby Hall. And it's in the midfield. Brankin carries hard, met by Thomas, met by Woodman, but still the ball with the women in purple for Rathes Rehas. Puts her shoulder to the wheel. McMahon fizzes it out. It's with the backs now. The line speed from Exeter.
Yeah.
Every inch the winners today. But O'Brien has another carry. Durham looking to have the final say, to sign this one off on their own terms.
Tackle, release.
Brankin wearing 5. McMahon. Martin F. Bailey. Exeter digging deep. One final defensive shift. Offsets Hannay. McMahon scampering around the breakdown. Opts to go it alone. Finds plenty of bodies in green. Jess Thomas's hands are on her knees. She's sucking in breath. Exeter throwing the kitchen sink at the visitors. And the visitors throwing it right back. Here's set v Soy. Slower ball this time. McMahon fizzes it out through the hands of Thompson Thomas. What a captain's performance she has put in today. O'Brien rolls through the contact, grabs an extra couple of inches. The clock is running out and these women are giving absolutely everything. It's pride on the line for Durham. And Exeter looking to cling on to a result which they will have. Their bench floods the field here at Mainside, here at the sports park. And Exeter have done it. 31 points to 7 over the reigning league champions. They are back at the pinnacle of the women's university game and they look every inch title contenders. Full time here in Exeter. And it is the home side 31, Durham 7.
Brilliant second half performance there from Exeter. An all-round really comprehensive display, you have to say, against the Durham side that refused to give in right until the final moment there. Some absolutely phenomenal performances. Katrina Hayes, I thought, was fantastic until obviously she sadly had to leave the field. Alicia Skeets with a double at Loosehead as well. You can't be too disappointed by that if you're a Loosehead prop, probably doubling your career try total there in one game. But a really good performance for Exeter, a result that puts them level with Hartpury in the league at the moment. That top 3 now separated by just 1 point. And I think this bodes so well for the rest of the league season. Exeter 2 from 3. Durham might not have come away with the result today, but showing that they're improving rapidly and up for the challenge this season. And I think heading into those round 4 clashes, everything is so beautifully poised going into those crucial games.
We want this league to be hotly contested. It's certainly proven so today. The teams gather together. Final huddles, final words after what has been a fascinating clash. Durham, they host Loughborough next week. Exeter are on the road to Hartpury, and on a big old stage, they'll be heading to Kingsholm, but they will be heading there full of confidence. What a performance from Poppy Leach's side. Harry, I'm afraid, sir, I'm about to completely throw you under the bus and on a spot here. Your player of the match. Feel free to run me through your contenders, but I'm going to leave it with you to select who you think shone today.
There's a number of players for both teams. I thought you might do it, so I was thinking about it a little bit before the end. I thought Isabella Hannay, despite the yellow card, really strong performance. Jess Vasoy leading from the front for her side. Araminta May when she was on the field, keeping things zipping and moving for that Durham team. For me, though, in that Exeter side, Maddie Bucock at a fantastic performance at hooker. Alicia Skeets at Loosehead, 2 tries, brilliant all round the park. But somebody we actually didn't mention too much in commentary, but just went about their business really quietly and then ended up absolutely crunching a couple of people in defence. The glue in that centre pair, Naomi Brennan at 13, I thought a fantastic overall performance in defence, in attack, keeping things moving and keeping her side ticking.
So many contenders, and also a mention to Poppy Leach, the mastermind behind what was a really truly emphatic 21-0 second half performance. I don't know what she said at half time, but it got the job done. And just look at the absolute delight of those women in green and white there. Harry, it's been an absolute pleasure having you alongside me. Thank you so much for your company, your insights. We're going to head over to Sandy Park because there's a rather big Bucks Super Rugby clash about to take place. So make yourselves a cup of tea, those of you watching on at home, and switch live streams. We will see you there very shortly. And for now, we will leave you with a very happy set of Exeter players. Today's National League live stream match finishes Exeter 31, Durham 7.